am Ravi Kumar. In this video, we will see the block diagram for digital communication system. Here, any communication system you take, the basic blocks are transmitter, channel and receiver. Transmitter transmits the information through the channel and the receiver receives the information from the channel. Here the channel may be anything. It may be like a wire, coaxial cable or optical fiber or water or air. The channel may be anything which is responsible for transmitting the information from transmitter to the receiver. So here we have taken the channel here. So these three blocks comes under the transmitter section here and these three blocks comes under the receiver section here. Now in the transmitter section, the three important blocks for digital communication system is information source, source encoder and channel encoder. So what is the information source? Information source is nothing but anything which provides the information. For example, a person is speaking on a mobile phone. The person is the information source there. Now whatever the data that the person is speaking is nothing but the actual data you have to transmit. That is the information. But observe here, the person speaking on a phone is a sound signal. Now we have to transmit that sound signal from that person to the receiver. That is other person. But to transmit the information by using electronic components, we are not able to transmit that sound signal directly. So that's why what we are doing here, that sound signal should be first converting into electrical signal. So that's why we require one transducer here. So that is the first block of the transmitter. Information source and transducer is present here. Transducer is nothing but a device which converts one form of energy into another form. Suppose you consider the microphone. You are speaking on the phone means you are speaking to the microphone actually. That microphone converts the sound signal into electrical signal there. That microphone is nothing but the transducer. Similarly, suppose you want to capture one scenery and you have to send that one to your friend. Then you have to use the camera. There the camera is a sensor which senses the image and transfers to the other person. That image is nothing but the data here, that camera is nothing but the sensor. So that is, whatever the data you have to transmit, that information should be first converting into electrical form or the data which is suitable for the transmission. And sometimes the data is directly like 1010 in computers. So the information is anything that should be communicated via digital communication system. So for that one we will see here. So after the information source block, the information is converted into electrical signal. Now it is in the form of analog signal, continuous time and continuous amplitude signal. For example, this is the speech signal. So continuous time, continuous amplitude signal. Now this continuous time, continuous amplitude signal is given to the next block called source encoder here. Here the function of the source encoder is two things. If the input of this one is analog signal, then it will perform all these operations. If the input of the source encoder is directly 1010, which is used in computers, direct transmission of ones and zeros from one device to another device, then only compression is enough for that. Why? Because no need of further converting this 1010 to digital data. Why? Because it itself is a digital data. So that is based upon the output of the information source. If it is 1010, we will perform some operations on the source encoder. If it is like speech signal or image, you perform some operations on the in the source encoder block. So that is, if consider here speech signal is given as the information source. Now we have to transmit this speech signal from here to destination. So this speech signal is first given to the source encoder block. In the source encoder block, this speech signal is a analog signal which is a continuous time and continuous in amplitude. So first of all, this continuous time, continuous amplitude signal is passed to the sampling block in the source encoder. This sampling block converts the continuous time, continuous amplitude signal into discrete time, continuous amplitude signal. After that one, that discrete time, continuous amplitude signal is given to the quantizing process or quantizing block, which converts the discrete time, continuous amplitude signal into discrete time, discrete voltage signal or discrete amplitude signal. So now the signal is of discrete voltage levels and at discrete times. Now we are going to assigning bit patterns for each discrete level in the encoding process. After completion of these things, now the signal is ready that, so for 1 volt sample, let us consider we are assigning some 00 bit pattern. For 2 volt sample, let us consider we are assigning some 10 bit pattern. So like that we are going to assign the bit patterns in the encoding process. Now we are going to transmit. But before going to transmission, we are seeing for the possible compression. We are looking for the possible compression of the data. We will understand this one with this small example. Let us consider after encoding process or after quantization process, let us consider the voltage samples are like this. 2 volts samples are there, 4 volt samples are there, and 6 volt samples are there, let us consider. But here 2 volts samples are, let us consider 10. 4 volt sample is 1. 6 volt sample is 1, let us consider. Total 3 possible voltage levels are there. 2 volts, 3 volts, 2 volts, 4 volts and 6 volts, let us consider. Then 2 volt samples are total 10 2 volt samples are there. 4 volt sample is 1 and 6 volt sample is 1. So total 12 samples are there. In the total 12 samples, 10 are 2 volt samples, 1 is 4, another one is 6. Now we have to transmit these 12 samples from the source encoder to the destination. So that's why what we are doing here is we are assigning 2 volt. For 2 volts we are assigning the bit pattern 0 0, let us consider. For 2 volts we are assigning 0 0 as a bit pattern. For 4 volt we are assigning 0 1. For 6 volt we are assigning 1 0. Now to send the 10 2 voltage samples, how many bits we require? For each 2 volt sample you require 2 bits. Why? Because for 2 volt sample you are assigning 0 0 as a bit pattern. So that's why for sending 10 2 volts samples you require 10 into 2, 20 bits you require. Similarly for 4 volt sample you are assigning 2 bits 0 1. For 6 volts also we are assigning 2 bits 1 0 pattern. So that's why total 10 into 2 plus 2 into 4. Total 24 samples are required. 24 bits are required to transmit that 12 samples. Now rather than assigning like that, if I assign like this, for 2 volt sample, if I am representing with only single bit as 0. Why? Because it is a high probability occurrence voltage sample. So that's why what I am doing here, for 2 volt sample I am not assigning 0 0 2 bits, I am assigning only single bit, that is 1 0. For 4 volts I am assigning 0 1. For 6 volts I am assigning 1 0, let us consider. These are the bit patterns I am assigning. Then now how many bits you require? For 2 volts only 1 bit we are assigning as 0. So that's why 0 only 1 bit we are assigning for 2 volt sample. So total 10 2 volt samples, total that is equal to 10 bits are required for transmitting, total 10 2s. Next for 4 and 6 we require 4 bits same. So totally here we require only 14 bits. That is, to transmit the same data, previously we require 24 bits. To transmit the same data, here we require only 14 bits. Here we have seen the possible compression of the data. How I am doing this one? By using the probability of occurrence of the levels. So this is nothing but Huffman encoding and Shannon-Fano encoding, which are used for possible compression of the data. If you compress this one like this, what will happen? We can send more number of signals in the channel. Now after source encoding, we will get the output as ones and zeros. Now this ones and zeros we have to transmit from transmitter to receiver. If you directly transmit this ones and zeros from transmitter to the receiver, there is a chance of getting error data to the receiver. Why? Because due to the effect or noise present in the channel. Suppose if I am transmitting 1 here, due to the noise in the channel, that 1 may be received here as a 0. So that is, the error may occur here. So to have some mechanism, to have some control over this error, we are using here channel encoder block. In this channel encoder block, what we are doing is we are adding some extra bits to the data which is coming from the source encoder. Why we are adding extra bits here? That bits are helpful in error detecting and error correcting processes. In the channel encoder process, we are adding some extra bits called parity bits to the actual data coming from the source encoder. Now we are transmitting the total bits to through the channel, and the receiver receives the data. That is the data plus parity bit. In the channel decoder process, it will do two things. First one, it will check for whether error is occurred or not. That is, it can detect the errors. If error is occurred, then it can correct the errors. So for this one, for error detecting process, we are using parity and CRC, cyclic redundancy check process, and for error correcting, we are using linear block codes and convolution codes. In this channel decoder, we are using these things for error detecting and correcting process. After detecting and correcting the errors, the corrected data is given to the source decoder. Now the source decoder can decode the information such that, so what are the information? This 2 volts now here is sending as 0 bit pattern. So the 0 bit pattern is again decoded into 2 volts here now. Now next 4 volts here we have decoded as 0 1 bit pattern. If we get the 0 1 bit pattern, the source decoder can decode it as a 4 volts. So like that, the actual signal present in the transmitter section here, output of the information source, is decoded in the source decoder process, and that can be given to the receiver or the destination. But now observe here, suppose I am transmitting the signal through the channel is, let us consider, air. Suppose you want to send some signal through the air, means the output of the transmitter should be containing one antenna, but because that antenna has to radiate the data in the air. So that is the output of the transmitter block, that is after channel encoder, we require one antenna here. If the channel is air, if the channel is like wire, then there is no need of antenna here. So that is depend upon the application, the blocks necessary for communication system is varying. And also to transmit the long distance, you require here antenna, and also you require modulator also. If you do some digital modulation like ASK, FSK or PSK, phase shift keying or frequency shift keying or amplitude shift keying, then we can transmit that ones and zeros to the long distance. So that's why in the transmitter section you require modulator and antenna also if you want to transmit to the long distance and over the air channel. Suppose in the computers, if you want to transmit from one system to another system, then there is no requirement for the antenna. Why? Because they directly transmit ones and zeros to the system from one device to another device. Then the channel is like a wire. Then there is no need for modulator or the antenna in those cases. So depending upon application and depending upon where we are using that system, we are going to add some extra blocks in the transmitter receiver sections. If the channel is like a wire or optical fiber, then you require some devices. If the channel is like air, then you require antenna and modulator. If you use modulator here, again in the receiver process, you have to demodulate the signal and then you have to perform the channel decoder operation. So that is in the transmitter after channel encoder, if the channel is air, it is having modulator and then antenna. Again here in the receiver section also we are using one antenna and then demodulator and then channel decoder. So, but the basic block diagram is this one: transmitter, channel, receiver, and in the transmitter section these are the important blocks, and in the receiver section these are the important blocks. Thank you.